Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Generations of the Game. We are at Michael Jordan's number 23 of the Generations of the Game podcast. I'm your host, JP, and of course, I got my co-pilot right along with me, my boy, Will Chill Lines. What's up, Will? Tell the people what's up, brother.
What's good, bro? Rocking like LeBron in his first stint in Cleveland, episode 23.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, that's Generations of the Game right there. One mentioning Jordan, one mentioning LeBron. That's why we call it Generations of the Game. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it, man. The NFL just released their schedule for the 2024-2025 season. Well, man, just think about it, brother. And what are we in May, June, July, August? About 4 more months.
Mm-hmm.
About 3.5 months. 4 months. We'll be getting ready for another kickoff season of the NFL, man. So let's get into it. The opening game, they gave us a great game from the door. The Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Thursday night football open right off the bat, right off the gate. They opened up with it, man. So what do you think about this schedule so far that we've seen from the NFL?
To be honest, man, I'm happy. I'm a little surprised because, like you said, getting a game of that magnitude, first game of the season, typically, you might get like, I don't know, like Browns versus like the Raiders or something like that. You know what I mean? But to get a prestigious matchup like this, the two most dynamic QBs in the league in their own ways, it's big time, man, and I'm grateful for it, man. I think. Josh Allen aside, this is at least for right now, this is the great QB, of the new generation right here. So every chance I get to watch him play, man, I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Also, we got them Philadelphia Eagle fans out there. They opened up in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. It should be a very interesting game, man. But let me tell you, Philadelphia fans, something. Don't think you're going to Brazil acting like you act in Philly. Let me tell you that right now. You don't want to go down there, down to Brazil acting up down there. Different country. They don't play in Brazil. So the police don't play, and we know them gangs. We've seen them don't play. So you want to go down there, you better act right when you go to Brazil, man. So how do you feel, Will, about the NFL actually playing a game in Brazil?
So I'll be honest, I'm torn on it, right? So on one hand, I think it's cool, they're trying to grow the game, and everything like that. Players get to maybe experience a place in the families, a place that they probably wouldn't have gone, typically. But I think that sometimes you just have to accept that every place and everyone is not your target audience. The majority of the world, doesn't care about American football. They care about football, you know what I mean? Like soccer, that's number one, and then, you got some of them play basketball and some other sports. But, I just feel like it's kind of like they're doing it so Americans will spend their money and want to travel to see the games. But as far as like the aspect of growing the game, really, like, I just don't see the point of continuing. Like, it's not the same as like, having like the NBA having basketball without borders and playing overseas and stuff like that. The NBA has players from all over the world, so that makes sense. But, this is just our thing, man. Like, it's kind of is what it is. You on mute, bro.
Sorry about that. The thing about it is, though, with this, man, is like, okay, you want to grow the game, but it's more of an American game. It's not an international game. And like you said, you're competing against countries where, let's be honest, soccer is way more popular than football. The original football is soccer. World Cup every day, even basketball at an international scale is more popular. Even if you want to be technical about it, maybe in some ways, even track and field, especially over in Europe, is more popular than American football is. You know, like I always say, my three favorite sports that I can watch all day: football, basketball, track and field. You know, of course, I put boxing in there too with great fighters. If they fight, you know, Shakur Stevenson, you know, Javante Davis, or even Tyson Fury is a heavyweight, but Tyson Fury and you know the boxers of that magnitude, they fight. Yeah, I'm going to watch the fights. You know, but overall though, it's football, basketball, and track and field for me. I mean, if you count WWE, which I count as sports entertainment, I watch that every now and then just to check in to see what's going on. You know, but you know the big three though: football, basketball, track and field for me. But football, basketball are really 1 and 2, I guess, in American sports right now. If you want to look at it, maybe baseball might be in there, but I think baseball's a little behind basketball. But football is definitely number 1. But I'd like to say, man, I mean, you want to grow the game outside of America, but how? I mean, 6-hour difference between Brazil and the United States. Europe, 6-hour difference. You know, I mean, how are you going to grow the game like that? The NBA has been more into international sports, international way of going in the last 30 years. You don't see an NBA team over in any other country but Canada. So, you know, I guess what I'm basically saying is, man, you know, that I don't know how this game is really going to grow, you know, in certain areas, but especially with time differences and stuff. So, you know, I mean, we'll see about that. Yes.
So I agree with that point, and I'll put it to you like this: when you think about literally any other sport, for the most part, look at it from the lens of there's an Olympic team for every country. You can't do that with football. You can't do that with football. To me, that says it all right there. You know what I mean? You think you brought up soccer, you got the World Cup, baseball, you got the World Series, basketball. You can look forward to the Olympic, trials, and then the Olympics. You know, football, regular season, Super Bowl, that's it. You know what I mean?
That's it.
You know, so it's ours.
Yes, that's it. It'll probably always be kind of that way, in my opinion.
Yep.
You know, I'll tell you another interesting game I want to look that I'm really into. It should be a fun game. Should be the Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud versus Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears in Texas. I mean, you got Caleb Williams won the Heisman Trophy last year. C.J. Stroud was a runner-up. We know the type of year C.J. Stroud had. It's going to be a very interesting game, I think, Will. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. But, Will, we also got to go with the NFL. One of the things we need to talk about, too, brother, is Thanksgiving Day games. Okay. Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions, Thanksgiving Day. That's a good game. But when is the Dallas Cowboys going to play a real team on Thanksgiving Day? They're playing the New York Giants. Come on, man. Come on. Who wants to see the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day?
Nobody.
Especially you got Saquon there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, man, I don't understand this. What happened to the teams you all used to play on Thanksgiving sometime? You know why? Like, I remember a couple years ago, y'all played Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving Day. Then it was the Eagles a couple times. There was a couple big teams they played. I guess they got tired of getting their ass kicked on Thanksgiving Day. They're like, we're going to fill it up with the New York Giants. Remember that time? What was it? 2 or 3 years ago? They played against the Washington Commanders. Remember that? They said, remember they thought they would have a good one. Remember they went there and beat them up too?
Yep.
You know, but they go play the New York Giants. You played them 2 years ago. Come on, man. When can we get somebody, good and real in there.
I'll tell you what, JP. If the Giants wear them new ugly ass uniforms they got, they're gonna take 2 losses that day.
Well, we're going to get into that. That's the next thing I was going to get into with the NFL. Well. That, excuse me for my French. That shit looked like something from football just beginning. That's what that shit looked like, man. Like something from 1920s and 30s, bro. I mean, come on, man. Who designed them uniforms? Who wants to wear that ugly shit, man?
Nope. They look like they're missing the leather helmet and the goalpost in the middle of the end zone.
In the middle of the end zone, that's what they're looking like, man. That's what it looks like. It does. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. I can't believe a team actually wore that, man. Like, that's crazy. And also, Will, here we go. More money again. More money for the NFL. Netflix, Christmas Day. You got 2 games only on Netflix. You got first game, Pittsburgh versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Then Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans, the 4:30 game on Christmas Day. Of course, you get to have a Netflix subscription to watch these games. What do you feel about that, man? About these games being played on Christmas Day? You know, and then they're going to put it on Netflix. For people who have Netflix, you got to buy it, I guess. It's more money for the NFL. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
I think that the NFL is honestly just trying to be like greedy. You know, then when you think about Christmas, you think about the NBA, you know, and even with some of the other like days of the week that the NFL has started having games played when it was only Mondays, you know, Sundays, and then they phased into Thursdays, but Saturday games and stuff like that. It's just kind of odd. You know, I feel like overall people will watch football whenever it's on, so they don't complain. But you know, as somebody that kind of appreciated knowing, you know, these set days was your football day, and then these other days, you know, you had your basketball and it was separate. You know, I used to appreciate that. You know, now you got to flip back and forth, where you got to have 2 screens up, you know, right next to each other, you know, to be able to process and look at what you're looking at, you know, what you're trying to look at. So, I mean, I get it, I guess, from a standpoint of maximizing your profit, but, you know, the NFL was never hurting for money, you know, so I think it's greed. And then the Netflix move is definitely greed. I personally feel like, you know, the NFL specifically, like, the whole subscription-based stuff is like crazy, like, and it's happening across all sports. You know, the WNBA with Prime Video, you know, and just different things like that. You know, watching sports on college basketball on Peacock and stuff like that. You know, they're trying to force us essentially to have cable and to have these streaming services. You know, to double dip and get our money both ways. But I mean, it'll get figured out, man. People have been working around it this long.
I'm just like, man, this whole thing is just crazy, bro. Like, everything's a money grab with the NFL and stuff, man. But guess what? We're the Fiends, though. We go back to it every week, though. People might complain, oh, this, that, and the third, oh, the game is soft or whatever, but we always go back to it. And Will, I'm gonna make a prediction right now, brother. I'll say in about 5 to 10 years, give it about 10 years max, maybe about 5 to 10 years, the Super Bowl is gonna be pay-per-view. I can see that happening. They're gonna charge you probably $70 to watch the Super Bowl. People gonna be complaining, bitching and complaining, oh, the Super Bowl. But guess what? Like you said, we fiends and we're gonna watch it. The NFL's a drug supplier and we're the fiends. They're gonna, and I mean break it down like that, but you know, doing it in layman's terms, you know, that's what it's gonna be. You know, we might complain, and guess what? That's gonna be a big cash cow for them too. Eventually, it's going to happen in the future, where the Super Bowl is going to be pay-per-view.
Now, I just want the fans And anybody that comes across this clip, to remember, you heard it here first. In the future, when that day comes, JP on episode 23 of Generations of the Game broke it down for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as we go to wrap up this NFL segment here, man, you know, a couple more months, we're going to ramp it up and get right back into it, of course. Well, I guess now we got to talk about, of course, you know, as I always say, we do ladies first. Just up with the WNBA. WNBA season just opened up the other day. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. They opened up on when was that? Wednesday? Was that Tuesday night? Tuesday night, I think. Tuesday. And Will, I just don't understand why the WNBA game and the playoff game is on at the same time. It made no sense to me. Why you have a WNBA doubleheader against the playoff doubleheader? Their season's just getting started. We're deep into the playoffs now. You know, I mean, you might not the way it's looking now, like Minnesota is beating the hell out of Denver, but we'll have a game 7 on Sunday. But what's wrong with Saturday or Sunday? Open up the WNBA season then, where you don't have no competition. Everybody can concentrate on that instead of considering what you want to watch. Oh, excuse me. It's consider what you want to watch, the NBA playoffs and WNBA playoffs. But anyway, that being said, Indiana Fever opened up, and Will, let me tell you something, man. Against the Connecticut Sun, man, they were on Caitlin Clark like peanut butter on jelly, bro. She had a pretty decent debut. 20 points.
Yeah.
8-9 assists, 10 turnovers. They're putting that pressure on her, man. Speak on it, Will.
I mean, it's what we said. You know, it's what the great Cheryl Swoop said. You know, people said it was hate. You know, there is an adjustment period. You know, at this level, every player was the best player on their team in college, the best player on their team in high school, and probably at almost any stage since they picked up a ball. You know, so it's not to say that Caitlin won't be good. It's not to say that she won't be great, because 20 points, even in an off night, that is, you know, that takes skill. You know, so I want to, you know, highlight that. But, you know, these are the best of the best. And, you know, the NBA is the best of the best, but the WNBA, you know, it's not even the 1%. It's like the 0.5%. You know, there's only like 144 roster spots right now. So they're all fighting, you know, to stay in the league. And, you know, I feel like they want to show Caitlin and show everyone that they can stop her, because she is, you know, the hot thing in the league right now. You know, she's the all-time scorer in college, and also the way that the media presents her doesn't do her any favors as far as, you know, the competition wanting to lock her down. You know, think about it. The Indiana Fever have had more televised games this week, I'm pretty sure, than they had all last season. You know, and they had Aaliyah Boston, you know, and Tiffany Mitchell and Lisa Smith last season. You know, the only difference on the roster really is Caitlin Clark. You know, so that speaks volumes right there. You know, the fact that, you know, skipping around a little bit, Nike has already committed to her having a shoe before they announced the shoe of a 2-time MVP and champion, you know, in Asia Wilson. You know, so people feel how they feel about a lot of these subjects, you know, and it just so happens that the other players are on the court with her and have a chance to do something about it.
Very good points, brother. Very, very good points, man. And, you know, people thought Diana Taurasi was hating when she came out with her statement and stuff. Said the basic same thing Cheryl Swoop said. Not only adjustment period, but she's going to get her welcome to the WNBA moment. And I don't understand what people were so upset about, especially when you talk about Diana Taurasi, all-time leading scorer in WNBA history, easily one of the top 5 players ever played this women's game, one on the pro level, one on the college level, one on the high school level. I mean, she's one of all-time greats, and people were criticizing her for what she said. And it's like, if anybody knows how to play this game, it's Diana Taurasi. You know, Caitlin Clark's going to be good. She's going to be a very good player in this league. I mean, she's already showed what she's going to do. She already showed what she can do. The turnovers are going to come down, and she's going to have a good year. But we're just saying, though, man, you know, it's more than just Caitlin Clark, you know, and building. Because to me, if you ask me personally, Will, to be honest with you, and we're going to get into that right now, the best player in the NBA, WNBA, in my opinion, and maybe the face of the league is Aji Wilson. She the other night she dominated that. I watched some of the game the other night with Las Vegas. She dominated that game, bruh. Rebounding, scoring, blocking shots. Kelsey Plum had a good game. They like they haven't missed a beat. They're still, and remember that as I always say, Ric Flair says, for you to be the man, you got to beat the man. In this case, for you to be the woman, you got to beat the woman. And they're going to defend them titles, man. Las Vegas ain't playing, man. You know.
I agree. Asia is definitely the best player in the league, and you know, should be the face of the league. You know, not only from an accolade standpoint, you know, the personality, she carries herself with grace and everything like that. I just feel like it's a missed opportunity not to market around that. You know, if we're talking about like the other players that's at the top, you know, you got Breanna Stewart in New York. She's right there. You know, Alyssa Thomas, you know, in Connecticut, you know, triple double threat, led the league in assists last year. She's just a different type of player. And then, you know, it's a lot of talent, you know, of course. And then I feel like we never even got to talk about this, but we got to acknowledge, you know, the great, you know, Candace Parker, you know, decided to hang them up, man. It's a shame we won't get to watch her play anymore. One of my favorite players of all time, you know. She's definitely, if I had to make a Mount Rushmore, she's on there for sure. I mean, literally from the time she stepped in the league, you know, she was dominant, MVP in her rookie season. Probably won't ever see that again. You know, so shout out to the real CP3. You know, and yeah, it's exactly what you think, man. Yeah.
Hey, Will, let me tell you something, man. Candace Parker, she was a player that when she was at Tennessee and when she came into the league, you couldn't find a player that you could compare to her because she was 6'4", 6'5". It'd be equivalent to a 7'1" center in the NBA, 7'2", 7'3", or Wemby like. She was the first Wemby. Let's be honest, man. She I know people like, there you mentioned Wemby, but I had to say this still. She was the original Wemby because she could do it all. She could bring the ball up the court. She could handle. She could shoot. She could pass. Like her passing ability was crazy. One of my friends, one of my boys, Andre, he used to call her back then. He said she's Scottie Pippen. I think she was more aggressive as far as scoring goes, but as far as the all-around game and other aspects of it, yeah, she did remind you of Scottie Pippen a lot with the passing and stuff. But Candace Parker was a great scorer too, when she had to be. She was a mixture of Scottie and LeBron. And you know, the other person I mentioned Wemby. Because she played the center position. That's what she reminds me of. That's what she reminded me of, man. And it was always great watching her play, man. Her game was just so smooth, man. You know, she was just so smooth. And I agree, definitely one of the all-time greats. You know, because it's a shame, you know, we think about her retiring. Then remember Maya Moore. Maya Moore just did she basically did the Jim Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she just retired and went off into the sunset, you know, doing her ministry thing and everything. That's, you know, more power to her for doing that and everything. And, you know, we are missing some great players, but we have some good ones, though, that are back. It's good to see Brittany Griner. I know she didn't play the opening game. She had an injury. It was good to see her back. It's good to see Skylar Diggins. She played You know what I mean? Playing, I think she's a forgotten player. Everybody forget about. She's definitely one of the original faces of the WNBA. You know, when she came out. You know, hopefully she get back to that type of player she was, even though she's always been a great player. You know, but yeah, looking forward to a great season with the WNBA and you know, definitely watching these games, man. You know, because we got to support them. We gotta support them. It's a high level of basketball. I see Angel Reese open up the other day with a nice game. The other day, 12-8. You know, so yeah, man, the talent's there, man. We gotta support the ladies, man. What they do, man. And it's high level basketball. You know, and as I like to tell y'all, all you cats sit back there drinking your beer, sitting on your sofa, man. Talk about this, that, and the third about the women's basketball. Just keep on sitting on the couch drinking your beer. They will cook your ass anyway. But but anyway. As we move on now to the meat and potatoes of our podcast tonight, the NBA, man, playoffs. Will, we got to start with your team first. OKC versus Dallas, man. It was they came back. It was a pretty good game last night, man. So what do you think about this game 6 now? Going back to Dallas, man. This is a pivotal game in the series.
It's gonna be tough, man, because Dallas is just kind of a rough matchup for OKC because with Chet being the real big man on the roster, you know, he's really thin, you know, and between Lively and Gafford, you know, they are extremely athletic and they just play hard. They hit the glass. PJ Washington hitting the glass, you know, shooting like freaking Dirk Nowitzki or some shit. You know, listen, PJ is a Kentucky guy, so, you know, I'm familiar with his game and everything. Talented guy, but he was not shooting it like that. Okay, if he did, we probably would have won the championship while he was there. But just being real, man, like, you know, Dallas, like you and I said before, JP, this is probably Luka's best team. You know, Kyrie is Kyrie. You know, the cast from top to bottom is a well-rounded team. And they've got guys that excel in their role. I think the addition of Dante Exum was smart. You know, he's a good defender, you know, secondary playmaker and stuff like that. When you have either Luka or Kyrie off the court, you know, they still got Hardaway Jr., you know, they just got guys that know what they're expected to do and they do it. And we got to shout out PA's own, man, Derek Jones Jr. That dude is balling. He can shoot now. He always defended and rebounded at a high level, jumps out the freaking gym, you know, and they just been making it hard, man. To be honest, I think they are just playing super hard. And outside of SGA, OKC's really young. And like SGA is young too, but you know, he's been around, you know, been around some real vet-led teams and everything like that. Like when you look at OKC, like he's the vet. You know, they got Gordon Hayward late in the season, but SGA's the vet. So, you know, that's very different. SGA had Chris Paul when he was, you know, just getting into the playoffs and stuff like that. So it was a very different situation. Like he was learning from guys that's been in the league over 10 years, you know, whereas Chet, you know, Jalen, they having a rough game. You know, they looking at somebody that's like 4 years older than them, you know, if that. So it's very different. And it speaks to kind of the way our league looks now. But overall, it's a must-win game. You know, win or go home. I think that OKC will respond. I hope that they respond and win the next two. But I don't know, man. You know, Dallas was able to get some wins even when Luka and Kyrie weren't even playing that great. So that's not giving me the greatest sense of optimism.
Yeah, I agree. That's concerning, man. When they don't have great games, the Dallas pulled out, like you said, 1 or 2 games, man. And I agree. The Big Ben of Gaffin and Lively and PJ Washington are doing their things, man. Derek Jones is one of the best sleepers we've ever seen, bro. I mean, I saw that dunk he had last night on that fast break, man. Only very few could do that dunk that he did last night, man. Where he caught the ball at too. Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. That SGA though, man. My opinion, should have been the MVP of the league. Should have been with what he did with OKC. I think that the problem with OKC is they're not physical enough yet. They're going to get there though. They're not physical enough and they're not big enough. They need somebody that with some weight to throw around on the inside and crash the boards and stuff. I think that's the biggest problem too. Because outside of Chet Holmgren, yeah, he's 7'1", but like you said, he's light as a rail. And then the other players you basically have the Williams and them. With the other Williams that comes off the bench, he's actually got some size to him. But the other ones are like wing players, basically, though. Dortch and the other Williams, So, yeah, they need to get a little bigger. They definitely need some more height and a little more bigger, on the inside to deal with the players underneath them, man, underneath those boards. Man, Luka 31, 11, and 10 last night, man. Great game from him. Kyrie had his big moments last night. Like we said, Will, I'm gonna tell you something, man. The next round, whoever gets out this Denver-Minnesota series, it's not gonna be an easy series, man. If Dallas wins, it's not gonna be this, an easy series because Dallas is a very talented team. If they get to the finals, it will not surprise me one bit. As we move on now to the other series out west, we'll stay out west and we go over to the east. We had the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And right now we're shooting the show. Right now, Minnesota's up on Denver 59-40 at the half. Strange series kind of in a way, man. Like it's like a roller coaster, man. The first two games, we see Dallas. And last week we were questioning, hey, what's going to happen? Can Denver survive this going into the next weekend? And now they won 3 games in a row. Joker came alive. He was doing his thing, and the other role players have too. What do you feel about this series? And it looks like we might be headed to a Game 7, Will. So we'll give our early predictions of that since it's going to be on this Sunday night. So if Denver and Minnesota play on Sunday night, who do you like in that game?
Man, it's hard to go against Denver. I feel like they've been the favorite, all season. They really didn't lose much of anything, from the championship season. And they still got, the best two-man punch, in basketball, in Murray and the Joker, and it's tough. I think that this will be probably the thing that propels Anthony Edwards, throughout the rest of his career. Losing to Denver, I feel like he's the kind of guy he won't forget it, and he's gonna be in that lab, going crazy to do whatever he can do. But I think it's interesting, man, because, and it's crazy to say this, but once they take the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year off the court, they actually match up better with Denver. Because the Joker has his way with Gobert. And I actually...
Now, go ahead. I was just like...
I saw an interesting take on it, and it's nothing crazy, but they were pretty much analyzing it from like a weightlifting standpoint. Nas Reed and Cat have like just a stronger lower base. They're not quite as tall and everything. So, when they're jockeying for position with the Joker, they have a little more success there, and they're quicker on their feet. Whereas Gobert, he's so long and everything. Once the Joker, kind of posts up and gets low, and once he bumps him, it's over. There's nothing Gobert can do. So it's just that right there is like a huge advantage, and it shows why, even though Gobert has more length, pause for the New Yorkers out there, than most, is nothing he can do with the Joker, man. So I will say it like this, and I'm not trying to, toe the fence, but if Minnesota won, I wouldn't be shocked, but until I see otherwise, I have to go with the defending champions.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. I got to go with the defending champions too. I saw a move last night the Joker did where he just faked him one way, faked him the other way. He had him all twisted all around the other night, and then he just went up for the layup, man. And it was like, man, Joker's something special, brother. He's something very special. Not only with the scoring, but also the passing ability he has. Not for a big man, but I'm gonna say it right now. He's one of the top 3 or 4 passers we ever seen in the game of basketball in the history of this game. And man, let me say something too about the Joker thing. I don't know what Lil Wayne was smoking again the other night, or whatever the hell he's doing. But that comment he had about the Joker being basically overrated. He plays like your dad does in the backyard. He's not as great and stuff. Man, just stop, man. Just stop it. Man's a 3-time MVP. Got a championship ring. Has some big playoff games and stuff. You want to make a comment like that? Come on, man. This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, just stop it.
The greatest second-round pick in the history of basketball.
That's all you need to know. The greatest second-round pick ever. We got to stop these damn hot takes, man. Oh, he's not this. He's cooking these dudes. He's cooking these dudes. Nobody can stop him.
JP, I will counter with this point. Whoever wanted Lil Wayne's opinion on anything besides rap, I blame them.
I agree, bro. I agree. Your boy over there, Skip Bayless and stuff, them ratings are suffering over there at Fox Sports. That's why he got him on every Friday and stuff. And I saw Paul Pierce the other day. He was talking about somebody. He was like, yeah, that nigga was like, oh, there's Paul with that. Like, yo, he on national TV, man. This is a disaster.
He was on the air.
He forgot he was on. Paul thought he was back in Inglewood, man. Mm-hmm. He thought he was back in the hood, back in Inglewood.
Paul about to get fired again.
He about to get fired again. But nah, he's been on there, man. And I'm sure it was definitely a slip, man, with him saying and stuff, And he'll be all right. He'll be all right going forward, man. But it's just when you said it, it was like a cringe-worthy moment, like, whoops. I know the sponsors and the people backstage are probably like, oh, no, he didn't just say this. Like, oh, we about to get in some trouble. But nah, everything smoothed itself out, man, and he just forgot where he was at, man, with everything. But Will, let's go on now to the East. And man, I gotta hold my nose talking about this team, man. Seriously, man. We're gonna get into the Knicks and the Pacers series. Man, I think it could be either game 6 or game 7. I think New York wins this series, man. And Jalen, I'm you know what? I'm gonna say it anyway. Jalen Brunson tear that he's been on, it reminds me of Allen Iverson with the Sixers back in 2001. It kind of does a little bit. I mean, this guy's just taking games over. You can't stop him. I mean, what more can you say? This team just refuses to lose, refuses to fold, man. We seen the Mother's Day massacre last week. Then to come back and to rebound and get the 3-2 lead like the way they did, man. It's game 5 of the night. It's remarkable, man. But I think it also speaks about Indy, man, and a lack of toughness that they have as well.
I agree. And of course, Jalen is playing at like an all NBA first team level, for sure. He's elevated his game in ways that I don't think anybody has seen, expected to see. But it just comes down to me the fact that the Pacers face of their franchise, he acts like he doesn't even want the ball most of the time. I get it. Like you're a big time assist guy and everything like that, but when it's winning time, the star is supposed to have the ball.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
you look at the Pacers of old, they gave Reggie the ball and they got the hell out of the way. It's disappointing because I was high on Halliburton, seeing the way he was starting off the season and everything. And I just felt like, what he kind of showed once he got out of Sacramento, I'm like, man, this guy is like really, getting busy. But what I've seen is, and until I see otherwise, I think, he's a guy that's going to have cool regular season stats. But when you really need it, if he's the number one for your team, you might as well bet against him. And that's just me being honest until I see otherwise.
I definitely hear you on that. I'm gonna give him a pass though because of his injuries that he suffered down the stretch. And from what I understand, he's still kind of injured. I think he's got a little bit of a back issue and stuff. So I'm going to withhold a reserve judgment on, if he's a stat guy or not. But I do agree with you, man. When it comes down to the last couple minutes of the game and everything, when it's money time, it's winning time. Mm-hmm. That's what it was with Magic. Yeah, Magic might set you up with all kinds of passes, getting rebounds, triple doubles, but guess what? When it's time, the game's on the line in a tight situation, everybody knew the ball was going to the Magic Man. Same thing in Boston with Larry Bird. Game tight situations, everybody knows the ball goes to Larry Bird. The same thing in Chicago with Michael Jordan. Everybody knew the ball was going to Michael Jordan. So, Steph Curry, LeBron, we can go down the lines. The great players want it and want to take the game over. I'm kind of a little bit surprised, too, because I thought Siakam was going to have maybe a little better series than what he's had. Obi Toppin's been playing good in this series. Miles Turner's had his moments. Some games he's played good. Some games he's kind of like disappeared. T.J. McConnell, he's made himself a nice career, man. T.J. McConnell's been playing very good. And he's been playing very good on Jalen Brunson. As a matter of fact, I think they should leave him on Jalen Brunson a lot of times because he's caused a little bit of havoc for him when they did, But I just don't. Indiana to me, man, they're lacking something, and I don't see them beating the Knicks in this series, regardless of what happens tomorrow night.
I'll be honest, like with the Pacers, I was kind of confused by them because I thought they were trying to do a rebuild, but then they started making all these moves. Like I thought that they were going to let some of the young players kind of develop and come into their own. Isaiah Jackson, and, Benedict Mathurin, some of these guys, but it's like every chance they get, they're in the market, for a trade, and I'm not knocking it because if you get a chance to, bring in a young player like Halliburton at the time or a player that, has championship experience and stuff like that, you don't do that every day. But at the same time, I just feel like a lot of their pieces don't match up because it's like part of their roster is trying to compete for a championship and then the rest of the roster, is like 5 years away.
Right. I tell you, man, Mathurin, man, he's a key. He's a big key of why they. Whoa, I think we got an injury here, man. Like Anthony Edwards is hurt. He's down. He's down, like holding his lower back area, man, and happened just to look up for a second. Just saw that. Wow. I hope it's nothing serious or anything, man. Because they go as far as the Ant-Man goes. But yeah, they definitely missing Mathurin though, man. Definitely Benedict Mathurin. They're definitely missing him, man. Because he's a solid player for him. He's been playing solid for them this year. And I guess we got to go on now to the next series. which is over. Darth Vader. That's what I call him, Darth Vader. The Boston Celtics closed out Cleveland in 5 games, 4-1. And Donovan Mitchell had some injuries there the last 2 games. Karis LeVert was out. Center Jared Allen, he was out. So, I mean, when that happens, man, you might as well just wave the white flag, man. You know, when that happens, man, Donovan Mitchell had some good moments, man. But, you know, he was injured, the calf injury. And I don't blame him, man. You should shut yourself down if you have a calf problem stuff. If you wanted to turn into something bigger than what it is. How do you think Boston looked this series, man? So they just turn it on and turn it off whatever they want to.
Yeah, I feel like they never felt threatened really by, Cleveland. I will say, though, as much as I think they will come out of the East, they have to be careful because we've seen it time and time again just with various teams throughout history. You can do that against teams that you're clearly better than. But if you end up against a team where you're equally matched and you think you can just turn it on, that's when you end up in matchups where you get, metaphorically punched in the mouth and you can't respond, and they've been in the conference finals. I think I saw like 6 out of the last 8 years. We know they've been in the NBA finals, twice. I think that if there was ever a time where it's like, all right, man, y'all got the experience, you felt the heartbreak and all of that. I heard Porzingis is about to come back. Look, if there was ever a time, it's now. And as we know with history, that you may not get another chance. So you got to maximize that and lock in from day one.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Oh, real quick, I'd like update. Seems like Anthony Edwards is okay. He's on the sideline right now. He's stretching himself out a little bit. Oh, I see what happened. Oh, he fell out on his back, like his back tailbone area, man. But he's up stretching himself out. So that hurt. But we need the Ant-Man. Because if Ant-Man can't go, you might as well just stop this series right now, man. Because they would be done. Minnesota would be done. But I agree with what you said about Boston, man. Let me tell you something. And even against the Knicks, you can't turn it off and shut it off against them neither. Because they're going to be coming at you like crazy.
Bro, I just wish we could see Brunson playing like this with a fully healthy Knicks team, man.
Yeah, with a healthy Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson and them. Yeah, I agree, man. And Tibbs is a great coach, man. And let me tell you something, man. New York's going to be a factor. They got a lot of assets too. They got a lot of draft capital and everything, man. They're going to be a factor. The only thing is, if New York and Boston play each other, it's like which devil was the best devil as far as I'm concerned. I hate them both, man. I hate them both. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man, because it's this New York crowd and Boston. I hate Boston. I hate the Knicks. But I think I'm about to go with Boston in this series, man. Because I need these New York Knicks fans, man, to go somewhere, bro. Seriously, they talking too much noise. They feeling good about themselves and everything. And I need to let them go back to misery and do something, man. For real. It's the fan base that makes me not like these New York Knicks, man. They still coming at me because of the Sixers, But yeah, man, I'm that's gonna be a hell of a series, though, man. Boston and the Knicks. That might even go 7 games, But I think Denver, Dallas, or Minnesota. I think one of those teams come out though and win a championship, though. That's just my opinion, because Boston, they can't be coming out there turning off, shutting off against any one of those teams. They'll blow you off the court by 20. So
I will say I noticed that that OKC wasn't on that list, so I see that you got them losing the series. All right.
I hope they win tomorrow, man. I just don't think they're ready yet, Will. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you. But you know what? It's been a great season. Next year, going forward, their future is very bright. And I'm gonna tell you, man, that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, man. If you don't like his game or something, he's just so efficient, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way he's so smooth and efficient. And man, he's definitely one of the top 5 players in the game right now, man. He could do so much for you. Chet Holmgren's going to be a superstar. I mean, they got their future is bright, man. So
Well,
I mean,
they just need a big man, like you said earlier. Like they got Jalen Williams playing power forward, but he's 6'6".
Yeah. Hey, Will, you know who'd be perfect for them at the center position to back up? Andre Drummond.
That'd be a good one.
Andre Drummond will be perfect with OKC, man. He gives you that physicality, that size, and even one of the Morris brothers, Markieff or Marcus, one of them. They would be good with them, give them that toughness they need on the inside.
You know what? I don't know if this would happen because you gotta hope he falls in the draft, but I wouldn't be mad if they ended up with Donovan Clingan from UConn, or if we can't get him, get Kel'el Ware from Indiana, man.
Yeah, Ware would be good, but you ain't getting Clingan, bro. You're not getting him. That's he's gonna be a top 7 pick. Definitely top 5, top 7, wherever. And speaking of which, as we go to close out this show, we got to talk about a young man who went to the NBA Combine and actually played very, very well. Measurements, shooting the ball, leaping ability, showed it all. Bronny James, making a name for himself. And well, we got to keep everything in perspective. People say, oh, he had a bad year this year. I don't understand us as a society sometimes, bro. I don't. Oh, he had a bad year. He didn't play the. I'm about to really curse, but I'm going to stop. Do you all realize this young man had a heart attack at 18 years old? Do we understand and comprehend that? You're not going to be 100%. When you have a heart, you almost die. And we should be talking about, oh, he had a bad year. Come on, man. But it's good to see the young man getting back in the swing of things, of what he's loving to do, and he's getting back to the way the player he was supposed to be and stuff. It's good to see that, man. But I just don't understand is he had a bad year. This young man didn't know if he was going to survive or not. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, allegedly his heart even stopped, I think, once, right? Yeah, to revive him. And we worry about what kind of year he had? Come on, man. Give me a break, Will. Speak on it, brother.
I mean, I think you're spot on. I think that as a society, we take the whole, if you're able to suit up and be on the court, then I don't care about your injuries. There's no excuses. And we take it, a little too far at times. A heart attack is not it's not turf toe. It's not, a bruised finger. None of that. That is, like you said, he could have died, man. Thankfully he didn't. The fact that he even played it all last year is honestly a miracle, when you look at it. And I think people forget because they're too busy trying to hate on his dad that, he's been preparing for this his whole life, and there are players that they're better suited for the NBA than they are college at the end of the day, because in college it's very system based and everything like that, and with Bronny, for one thing, he was taught to play the right way, almost, to a fault as far as like his own numbers, even at Sierra Canyon, he never was a big numbers guy. He's a team first guy. He plays defense. He makes the right passes. He takes good shots, and the thing about it is there's always a place in the NBA for players like that. And he, I think it was like in one of the, pre-draft interviews or whatever, they asked him about, who he looks at as far as like modeling his game. And he was talking about like Drew Holiday, Derek White, players like that, And I think that level of awareness right there will serve him well, in the long term. And it speaks to also like the fact that, a lot of people don't like LeBron. They don't like the fact that he roots for his kids, but, behind closed doors, he's being honest, with his son. He didn't say, hey, when they ask you what player you trying to be like, tell them Kobe or something like that. That's not his game, and that's not what's going to keep him in the league, you know what I mean, for 10 plus years. So, honestly, I'm rooting for Bronny, man. Listen, I don't care if he's ever an all-star, anything, man. Like, I just want to see him healthy, happy, and, hopefully living his dream, doing his thing, man.
And Will, if he does turn into Drew Holiday or Derek White, that's a hell of a player. That's a hell of a player. Let's understand that's upper echelon players we're talking about here. I mean, we're talking about in case of Drew Holiday, what's he, 3 or 4 time All-Star? Something like that.
And a champion.
Champion too. Derek White, borderline All-Star. Very, very solid player in the rotation for Boston. He turns to anyone. That's a great career. That's a very good career. And like you said, man, which I never understood why LeBron James is hated so much by so many people. I mean, what has he done to garner the hate? Oh, they talk about him too much. Oh, they do. Man, stop, man. They talk about everybody, man. Stop. Oh, and some people say, oh, LeBron I think he's a fun man. Stop. Hey, LeBron always came across to me as a genuine, real guy, man. He's always been that way, and, he has a school. He's a devoted father to his family. Always there, like you said, support his kids, his wife or whatever. Come on, man. Let's just stop the hate, man. We sit up here and talk about, which I never believed in anyway, that athletes should be role models. And we can go into that to another story some other day. Just because somebody dribbles a ball, throws a football, or runs or does whatever on your TV for 2 or 3 hours, they don't make him a damn role model. You know nothing about these people. But anyway, as far as LeBron knows, he wants to be a role model for kids and everything. He accepted that responsibility. So we should be applauding him. And I don't get into the whole Michael Jordan, LeBron comparison, because that shit is tiring, man. That's just like Nas and Jay-Z, and it's tiring. It's tiring, man. They're good at what they do, brother.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say too, JP, is a lot of people had their concerns like, oh, he shouldn't even have been at the draft combine, X, Y, and Z. I'll put it to you like this, man. Like, were there other players whose numbers were more deserving? Sure, but we don't have issues with nepotism in society any other time. At the end of the day, if people in our community reach a status where they can reach and pull their kids up or somebody they know up or whatever the case may be, why not? Now, I'm not saying don't hire qualified people, obviously, but why not? Why not? A CEO can name his son the next CEO of a company just because it's his son. Ron can't give his son a workout.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes. You're right. It's crazy, man. But Will, man, once again, brother, we another good one that we had. It gets around a lot of topics, brother. But anyway, to the fans out there, the people who support and stuff, we thank you. We've brought you some great shows over these past, especially couple weeks and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, 2 weeks ago and last week, man, you couldn't get no better than that, man. Toward the world of track and field. Then we had Coach Robert Jones on with us last week from Norfolk State. So we had to simmer down a little bit and give you all just JP and Will on here giving our views, man. But hey, Will, kick your shout outs, brother.
Shout out to the listeners, man. Shout out to our families. Shout out to our brother, the late Dr. Samuel J. Man, you know, they just did the commencement last weekend, man. Shout out to Miss Nancy, and you know, shout out to my co-host as always.
Oh man, of course, man. Shouts to our families. Shouts to, of course, my brother Will right here. Also, man, like you said, man, shout out to Nancy, of course, always. You know, and our brother, man, got his doctorate degree last week. You know, from Delaware State University. Actually got this doctorate degree at age 31. 31 years old when he passed away at the age of 32. But you know, Sammy, we do this show. One of the reasons why we do this show is because of you. And because of, you know, of course, like I said, my father and Sammy. I know it's like a broken record, but it's the truth. This is the reason why we do this show is because of them. You know, and you know, of course, we're proud of Sammy. I know he's looking down on us. I know he's proud of us, man. You know, and it's like, you know, for those people who didn't know Sammy, this type of guy, this is honestly the truth. This is the type of guy I can say he was. He was always the smartest guy in the room, but you would never know it. And what I mean by that is by him being the smartest guy in the room, and you would never know it. He would listen to what you have to say with everything. And he was such a very, very gentle, humble soul. That's all we can say about our brother, man. You know, and of course the listeners out there, I mean, you know, our watchers and listeners, whatever, we thank you as always. And as always, for me and Will, we say enjoy your weekend, get out, help somebody, do something. We say peace, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.